जय श्री गुरुदेव महाराज की जय, भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाराज की जय, सिंबल भक्त वृंद की जय। जय जय राधा कृष्ण जुगला मिलाना, जय जय राधा कृष्ण जुगला मिलाना, आरती कराए लाली आरती कराए लाली साखी जय जय राधा कृष्ण मिलाना, साखी गाना, रूपा तिरंगा सुंदरा, पीतांबर से कुछ भंगा सुंदरा, पीतांबर से चूड़ा मनोहरा, ललिता माधव बामे विषमानुपान्या, सुनीला बसना गौरी रूपगुण धान्या, ललिता माधव बामे विषमानुपान्या, सुनीला बसना गौरी रूपगुण धान्या, अलंकार जालमाला, परिमाण विमोहन मदन उज्ज्वला, अलंकार जालमाला, परिमाण विमोहन मदन उज्ज्वला। जय जय राधा कृष्ण मिलाना, आरती कराए लगे साखी गाना, साखी जना नराग गाए, नर्म सखी जत चमरा। Let me move the screen. सकात सखी जना नन राग गाए, प्रिय नर्म सखी जत चमरा दुलाए। जय जय राधा कृष्ण युगल मिलाना, आरती कराए लगे आदि सखी गाना, श्री राधा माधव सरसी जया से भक्ति विनोद सखी पद सुख भासे, श्री राधा माधव पद Tulasi Jaya Se Bhaktati Vinoda Ade Sukha Bhase Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milana Bharati Karae Lali Radhisa Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Radha Sam Sundara Radha Sam Sundara Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo ऐसे श्री श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय जगन्नाथ बालदेव सुभद्रा भगवान की जय नित्य गौ प्रेम नंदी हरि हरि बोल. So can we read the translation of this song and then we will start reading the Bhagavatam. So who would like to do that? Just start one by one. Unmute yourself.
I can start, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Beautiful Vrindavana is filled with Chintamani gems and many jewel palaces and temples. Many regal swans play in the waters of the Yamuna, and in those waters a splendid golden lotus flower grows.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In the middle of that lotus is a golden place surrounded by 8 petals. On these 8 petals, the 8 principal gopis reside. And in the center, Lord Shyam Sundara and beautiful Srimati Radharani sit on a jewel throne.
Okay, I think we have to read this translation. Sorry, Prabhu, can you read from top once again?
All glories to the meeting of the transcendental pair, Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. The gopis, headed by Lalita, perform the Arati ceremony for their pleasure.
Yes.
Correct.
Mataji, read please.
The threefold bending form of Krishna, the attractor of Cupid, dressed in yellow silk dhoti and wearing a crown decorated with peacock feathers, is simply captivating to the mind.
Haribo, Madana Mohana Rupa Tribhanga Sundara. So Bhagwan is called Tribhanga. Okay. Read the next one, please.
Sitting to the left of the charming Lord Madhava is the daughter of King Vishwanu. Dressed in a lovely deep blue sari, her complexion is the color of molten gold, and all the characteristics of her beauty and qualities are highly praiseworthy.
Wow. Wonderful. Okay, next one. Yeah, please, somebody can read.
She is decorated with various shimmering, sparkling ornaments. Her face is so splendorous that it enchants the mind of Lord Hari.
Yes, beautiful. Okay, please continue reading.
The gopis of Vishaka's group sing many enchanting songs in various tunes, while the topmost class of gopis, known as the Priya Narmasakis, soothes Radha and Krishna by waving camera fans.
Chamara fans, yeah.
Camera fans.
Yes.
Camera fans.
Yes. It's the last one. Please read somebody.
Hoping to attain the lotus feet of Radha and Madhav, Bhaktivinoda swims happily swims in the ocean of bliss, found at the of damsels of.
Mataji, you are breaking.
Can I read again, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please. Yeah, it's a very powerful song. Yeah, please read once again if you can, so that we can hear.
Hoping to attain the lotus feet of Radhika and Madhav, Bhaktivinoda happily swims in the ocean of bliss, found at the feet of damsels of Gadadham.
Hari, thank you. Beautiful songs. So let's move to Bhagavatam. Give me 1 minute so I can switch. Sri Radha Madana Bhanga Sundara. Oh, can you see the screen?
Yes, bro.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhakti Nestiki Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunvetam Jena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lamete Gurum Yat Kripa Tadam Bande Shri Gurum Tintarinam Pramananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanando Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauru Bhakti Vrindo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai Assemble Bhakti Vrind Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Worship Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ग्रंथा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. ग्रंथा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. ग्रंथा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. Hare Krishna. So let's read this verse. Beautiful verse. We are in fact going through a few series of verses which is going to talk about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. I already have so many presentations, so I'll just pull out one of them today to just do some glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll give you enough information today. Please do not be discouraged. So this is a beautiful verse that coming in a segment where basically the last question of the series of Naim Is Sadhana is being answered by Sudha Goswami. So let us read this verse. It says, Tadidam grahayam masa sutam atmatam varam sarva vedita hasanam saram samudritam taditam grahayam masa sutam atmavatam varam sarva vedita hasanam saram samudritam taditam grahayamasha shutam atmatam varam sarva vedita hasanam saram samudritam. Word by word meaning. Tat, that, idam, this, graham, asha, made to accept, sutam, unto his son, atmavatam, of the self-realized, varam, most respectful, sarva, all, Veda, Vedic literature, books of knowledge, and then itihasanam. So the word there is that Vedit Hasanam. So if we split it, if you do Pad Vicheda, then it will be Veda plus Itihasanam of all the histories. Saram, two times it comes. Cream and cream. Saram is essence of the Vedic studies. Samudritam, taken out. So let's read the translation. Sri Vyasadeva delivered to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized. After extracting the cream of all Vedic literature and histories of the universe, Sri Vyasadeva delivered to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized. After extracting the cream of all Vedic literature and histories of the universe. I don't know, I mean, how deep, it's very much up to us that how deep we can go to really understand this statement here that's being made, that it is basically extraction of all the Vedic literature and histories of the universe. I mean, how bold a statement can be than this one. Let's read the purport. Men with a poor fund of knowledge only accept the history of the world from the time of Buddha, or since 600 BC. And prior to this period, all histories mentioned in the scriptures are calculated by them to be only imaginary stories. Okay, that is not a fact. All the stories mentioned in the Puranas and Mahabharata, etc., are actual histories, are not only of this planet, but also of millions of other planets within the universe. Sometimes the history of the planet beyond this world appears to such men to be unbelievable, but they do not know that different planets are not equal in all respect, and that therefore some of the historical facts derived from the other planets do not correspond with the experience of this planet. Excellent point. Considering the different situation of different planets and also time and circumstances, there is nothing wonderful in the stories of the Puranas, nor are they imaginary. Considering the different situation of different planets and also time and circumstances, there is nothing wonderful in the stories of the Purana, nor are they imaginary. We should always remember the maxim that one man's food is another man's poison. That the phrase normally we use. We should not therefore reject the story and histories of Puranas as imaginary. The great Rishi like Vyas had no business putting some imaginary stories in their literature. In Srimad Bhagavatam, historical facts selected from the histories of different planets have been depicted. It is therefore accepted by all the scriptural authority as the Mahapurana. The special significance of these histories is that they are all connected with the activities of the Lord in a different time and atmosphere. Srila Sukadeva Goswami is the topmost personality of all the self-realized soul. And he accepted this as the subject of his studies from his father Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva is the great authority, and the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam being so important, he delivered the message first to his great son Srila Sukadeva Goswami. It is compared to the cream of the milk. Vedic literature is like the milk ocean of knowledge. Cream or butter is the most palatable essence of milk, and so also is the Srimad Bhagavatam. For it contains all palatable, instructive, and authentic versions of different activities of the Lord and his devotees. There is no gain, however, in accepting the message of Bhagavatam from the unbelievers, atheists, and professional reciters who make a trade of Bhagavatam for the layman. It was delivered to Srila Sukadeva Goswami, and he had nothing to do with Bhagavat business. He did not have to maintain family expenses by such trade. Srimad Bhagavatam should therefore be received from the representative of Sukadeva, who must be in the renounced order of life without family encumbrance. Who must be in the renounced order of life without family encumbrance. Milk is undoubtedly very good and nourishing, but when it is touched by the mouth of a snake, it is no longer nourishing. Rather, it becomes a source of death. Similarly, those who are not strictly in the Vaishnava discipline should not make a business of this Bhagavatam and become a cause of a spiritual death for so many hearers. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that the purpose of all the Veda is to know him, Lord Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord Sri Krishna himself in the form of recorded knowledge, Grantha. Therefore, it is the cream of all the Vedas, and it contains all historical facts of all times in relation with Krishna. It is factually the essence of all histories. So the purport is very beautiful, and in fact, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is trying to very much give the extensive information about what is given in the translation. So I can pull out some other presentation to talk in this context, but before I do that, I would like to highlight some of the key points that is mentioned here in the purport. So it says here that there are so many planets, and each planet have their own history. Right? There is a story. There is a particular history of each planet, but sometimes that doesn't make sense to us. So if that doesn't make sense to us, that doesn't mean that it has not happened or it's imaginary. When we study Shastra, it's very clearly mentioned that this material world is nothing but manifestation of the Lord external energy, which means either it's external energy or internal energy, it's a still energy of the Lord. And in that context, everything that we are seeing around is part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we know that Lord resides in Golok Vrindavan, Goloka Nivasati, he's residing in Golok Vrindavan. So some of the pastime that happened in Vrindavan when Lord appeared, now as time is passing by, generation to generation, as people are getting away from that story, their faith, their belief is going to slowly decrease. They're not going to have that degree of faith as it would have been maybe 100 years back or 200 years back. And all of you can see that how the religious values of the society is going down. So then it becomes responsibility of the people who are at this time on this planet, who are sensitive and who are aware with the fact that the history or the past time of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fact. So how to present that, how to basically preserve it for the next generation, so that when they come, for them it doesn't appear it's imaginary. For them it doesn't appear that it's something that they cannot believe in. It's something that they cannot buy in, because the way material world works is that if one is trying to forget Krishna, okay, Krishna will give them the intelligence to forget. Okay, if one is trying to go away from Krishna, Krishna will give them the intelligence to go away. Okay, so that person will find thousands of reasons to believe that, oh, Bhagavatam is not the Grantha avatar. Okay, we just read in the purport that Bhagavatam is nothing but the manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in book form, Grantha avatar. So that type of realization, the devotee who are chanting, the devotee who are following the sadhana bhakti, they can realize, but their realization is not going to match with the understanding of the atheistic type of people who are trying to go away from Krishna. Then it becomes very important for the people who are on the theistic path to build a foundation for the people to not go on the atheism. And I'll tell one story once I go through this purport. I'll tell you one story to make this point clear. And then there is a point made here that Vedic culture, literature is like the ocean of knowledge. Okay, so where is the knowledge? Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. These are the three sources of the knowledge: Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. Where we get the knowledge, the most bona fide, authentic knowledge is coming from Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. And in that category, among these three sources, Shastra basically is the one that is also a source for Sadhu and Guru, because Shastra is personally given by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here is the point that's being made here, is that all the literature is like ocean of milk, and when you churn it, the cream that you get, that is Bhagavatam. So all the Shastra can be basically, in terms of understanding, it can be categorized in three buckets. Okay, the first one is called Prabhu Samhita, and Prabhu Samhita, like the Veda and other Samhita, is under Prabhu Samhita. So in Prabhu Samhita, what happens is that the message is given, okay, but the message is given in a very concise format, or it's given in a format that the people who have elevated consciousness, they can go and they can learn it. Okay, they can understand it. So only people who have elevated consciousness, who are really inquisitive to know how to get out of the cycle of birth and death, they will approach They will approach the Veda, and then they will basically get the essence of the Veda, which ultimately will lead the person to the bhakti. And then after Prabhu Samhita, there is another Samhita that presents basically same message in a story format. Okay, so Puranas and Upanishads, these are basically in that second category, where the same message is presented in the form of a story. Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam is basically in that category. And when we say in the story, means the people who are not really expert in Sanskrit, who are not very expert in learning the Veda, they can get the same message. They can get the same message by reading Upanishads and Puranas and Mahabharata and Ramayans. These are the basically same message, but Lord is teaching, and our acharyas are presenting in a very sublime, sweet way. So the pastime of Kunti Maharani, she's praying, "Oh my dear Lord, you are the basically property of the one who has nothing." So all of that beautiful pastime that we go through, we are going through the pastime of how Lord Shiva met Prachetaji in our evening recitation. But all of this pastime, there are many places where Narad Muni is seeing and meeting the devotee, and every time he uses different technique of teaching. Not one type of teaching, different technique of teaching, and he is basically teaching the same essence, bhakti. Okay, so the second category presents the shastra basically in a story format, and the third category, which is called wife samhita, that basically is a category of samhita where the same message is even diluted down and presented more in a form of a song, in a poetic form, in a more easier way for people to understand. So singing the song of Bhakti Vinod Thakur or Narotam Das Thakur, don't see ever that, oh, I don't understand Bengali. I also don't understand Bengali, but the word, when we hear it, the depth of the expression is so powerful that it will purify us. Okay, so that's how the shastras are presented in 3 different categories for different level of people to understand. But the essence is that all of these should lead one to the point where one is ready to take the bhakti. So Purana is basically there are so many Vedic knowledge, but Purana specialists. And out of all the Puranas, Bhagavat, Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam is basically essence. It's a cream of the Vedic knowledge. And then it talks about that is why Vyasdev delivered this message to his son. Why? Because Lokas Janati na vidwams. These ordinary people, they do not know what is the importance of Vedic knowledge. Lokas Janatams ya vidwams chakre satvitam samhitam. That is why the vidwans, the learned person, write the scripture. Why? Yasya Moisuyamana nam Krishna Param Purushe. They don't know that the Param Purush is Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So to make that available to Lokas Janati na vidwams, the ordinary man, they do not know that. So to make that aware, Chakre Satvitam Samhitam, the learned man, like Vyasdev and other acharyas, they do writing. Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, all of these Goswami, Srila Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, all of them, they wrought. Why? Because they knew Lokas Janati na vidwams. At the sum of the, at a time, the mankind will get so busy that they will have no time to meditate and learn about this higher science. So let's make and present in a sublime way. So that's why we are seeing here that Vyasdev gave that message to Sukadeva Goswami, and through Sukadeva Goswami, we are hearing this message. And not only that, it's being said here that Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavatam, Lord says that the purpose of all the Vedas is to know him. See here. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord Krishna himself. Okay. So the sixth question that sages are asking is that what will happen? What will happen if Lord will depart? If Lord will wrap up his pastime, then what's going to happen? Okay. Then the answer is being given here that Lord will give the Bhagavatam, which is going to be basically his book avatar, Grantha avatar. So each and every word when we are reading in Bhagavatam, as we are reading it, we should see the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I wanted to make one very important point. So there is a story that one man, he was from a Christian belief. And he basically, passed away. And then he again, came back to life. There have been some instances that, people had death experience. And then after some times, they come back to their original life. So this man was from Christian background. And he was, he had a death experience. His body, he was almost, gone, dead. And then after some times, again, he came back. And then he was sharing the experience, what he felt when he was in that period, when everybody thought that he's died. So he was saying that he went to a abode, he went to a place where there was a big man with big mustache. This is a Christian person. I forgot the name. It's a real story. With big mustache, on a big, ashram. He is sitting there, and then he has his associates, and there are so many people standing in a line. Okay, and one by one, people are coming to him, and then as he is standing, there is two doors. Okay, one door is in his right, and the second one is in his left. Okay, and as people are coming. So when people are coming close to him, they have a body. He's saying, and we know the yatana body, okay? So he's saying that they have a body, and body is transparent. And body is so transparent that the person who is carrying with this body, he is able to see how much. So let me first stop sharing the screen. I'll go to the different screen. So that person, can see his scene. So his body is in such a way that as he's walking, it's Emeraj, as he's walking towards to that person, they all can see all the scenes that they have done. So before I even go to Emeraj and Emeraj decide what's going to happen to me, I'm able to see all of my scene that I have done life after life. My whole thing is like movie. It's coming and I'm seeing it. Oh, I have done this scene, I have done that scene. Oh, I did this, I should not have done. And as that person is moving close, they are, oh my gosh, how sinful I was, how much sin I have done. And he is getting close. And then he's seeing that whatever that man is saying, everybody in the room can hear. Doesn't matter how far down you are, everybody is able to see. And then he's saying that, okay, so the person is coming and he's asking, so do you know now how much sin you have done? Then the person is begging, yes, please forgive me. I have done a lot of sin. Now I know I'm a very sinful man. How can I get liberated from this sin? And then based upon that, he gives the decision. Right door, he says that go to the higher planet. Left door, he says that go to the hellish planet. So he's the man in the backside, he's seeing all of that. So as he is seeing this, he was a Christian and he had faith in Jesus Christ. So as he was coming close, he was realizing that, hey, I have gone to church and I have accepted supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Jesus Christ. Okay, so as he's getting close to Yamraj, this is coming into his mind, and he's remembering Jesus Christ. My dear Lord, I had trust in you. Although I am a sinful man, I have done the sin, but I had trust in you. Okay, and as soon as as soon as he realized Jesus Christ, by the time he's next to Yamraj, so Yamraj is looking at him, and Yamraj is saying that oh, all the sin disappeared. So his body has, he was able to see all the sins. All the sins just, disappeared, but there was some sin that was left over. So he's asking that, he's asking from Yamraj that, I have worshipped, I had faith in Jesus Christ. So what is my destination? Yamraj is saying that since you had faith in Jesus Christ, all of your sin is vanquished. Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalaveva Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Nasti, Gatiranyata. This is not just simple, verse that we can say for, poetic point of view. When we hear the story of Ajamila, we just hear it as a story. But here is a perfect real-time, example. Yes, you had faith in Jesus Christ, and as soon as you remember, all of your sin is gone. But then he's asking, but still I have some here. He said, yes. So all the sin that you have done, for your welfare. So there are sin that we do. We do sin for our welfare. How can I have food? How can I have a little bit good life? Janna mritu jara bedhi, everybody has some sort of disease. They're trying to be cured. We have bhaya, we get fearful. What we are doing to protect ourselves from all of that. So everything that you have done for your benefit, when you called out the name of Jesus Christ, that sin vanquished. But you have also done some sin to harm others. You have also done some sin to harm others living being. And then Yamraj is saying that, remember, you had once posted a bad message in such and such newspaper. You were the author of that message, and that message was against Lord. And by reading that message, so many people got their tendency toward atheism. So by your activity, you provoke people to become atheists. And that sin cannot be nullified. Yes, you are a living being, you are in the ignorance, you did something for your benefit, you did the sin, that sin is vanquished because you called out the name of Jesus Christ. But you also did the sin that provoke others to get on the path of atheism, to get on the path of nudity, to get on the path of meat eating. So that sin cannot be nullified. And for that sin, you will have to suffer. My dear Lord, I'm so ignorant. I'm just doing the sin, but I don't know what is the consequence of the sin that I'm doing day in and day out. There is nothing higher than pramartha. There is nothing higher than pramartha. If you are helping the sons and daughters of Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is nothing higher than that. But if you are harming their emotion, if you are harming their intelligence, if you are diverting them on the wrong path, there is no bigger sin than that. There is no bigger sin than that. If you are hurting the sons and daughters of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no bigger sin than that. So there is nothing worse than acting against the mankind, and there is nothing higher acting for the favor of the mankind. So knowing this, Acharyas have given the Shastra, and they are the dearmost. They are the dearmost of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because they are acting for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why Bhagavatam was compiled by Vyasdev, because he knew that mankind will be forced to go in the wrong direction. Bhagavatam will save. So we all have some responsibility, okay? And be very, very responsible with your responsibilities. Very, very responsible with your responsibilities. Don't act like a madman. Don't leave your emotion out. We are in a stage where we do not know the deeper meaning of Shastra. Be very frank, just shallow understanding here and there, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to help. It's not going to help. We have to deeply, get into what we are into. The Gauriya Sampradaya, Brahmadhava Gauriya Sampradaya. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna is saying that the whole world is doing my sadhana bhakti. But by sadhana bhakti, one cannot obtain the ultimate goal. One must have to come to raga bhakti. Okay, our acharyas, sometimes when I hear, when I'm talking to devotees, they talk about, oh, Shiva, if Shiva cannot do, we cannot. All of these things on the superficial level is okay, okay? But the point here is that, Vyasayatmika buddhi ekah nandana, the one who is firm in their resolution, they know that I have only one goal, and the goal is to get back to home, back to Krishna. So our acharyas, either in the form of write-up, as commentary given by His Divine Grace, or in the form of song, or any format, the science of Krishna consciousness that is coming in the lineage of Brahmadhava Gauriya Sampradaya, that teaching has both sadhana and raga. I'm going to disclose very powerful statement here. So if you very honestly, faithfully, with full dedication, stick with the teaching of our acharyas, okay, it will take you from sadhana to raga, and finally back to home, back to Krishna. There is no doubt about it. That's why the science, when we talk to people, it's very hard for ordinary people to digest. Remember last Sunday I was quoting a verse from Manasiksha, and I was making a point that I don't want to dwell my mind in the mundane talk, because the mundane talk is like prostitute. I don't want to talk, about liberation, because liberation is like Vyagra, tiger, which kills the soul. I don't want to even talk about the husband of Lakshmipati Narayan, because he will give the Vaikuntha. I want to talk about the pastime of Radha and Krishna, because when they become happy, they award the soul from their jewel of love. So that ultimate goal that we are talking about is not very easily achieved. So the system that our acharyas have given is well proven, okay? And it has a transition stage, okay? So as we go, we have some Shraddha. Shraddha has some element. What is Shraddha? Shraddha has some element in our, this is very, important thing to understand. What is Shraddha? Shraddha is basically, faith in Guru. Shraddha is faith in Shastra. Shraddha is faith in the limbs of devotional service, Saranam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pad Sevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. Do you have faith in that? That's the limbs. And 4, Shraddha is that we have faith in the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or his pastime, it did. So Shraddha has this 4 component. So if you have the Shraddha, we should have this 4 component. The chanting that we are doing is the way we'll go back to home, back to Krishna. The Madhurya Kadamani very nicely mentioned. It gives the stages of the advancement. And it says that at Nishtha stage, devotee is in Sadhana Bhav, Sadhaka. After Nishtha, they start transitioning into the Raga. Okay, I don't want to get into those technicality, but the point I was trying to make is that the process that is given by our acharyas, and here we are seeing Bhagavatam compilation by Vyasdev, and coming from him through Srila Prabhupada to us. These things are proven, that this will take us back to home, back to Krishna. These are the essence of the Vedic knowledge, and these teachings will transition our consciousness from sadhana to raga. Don't have to make additional endeavor anywhere else. Rather, just get into Srimad Bhagavatam and know that each and every verse is very important, very powerful, because this is nothing but the word of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Sorry, I wanted to share some presentation that I have about Bhagavatam, but I got into the story and I couldn't get to my presentation. It's 8:03, but we'll just open and we'll have some discussion. So the main essence, of our discussion today is that Shastra that we see, especially Srimad Bhagavatam here, is none different than Supreme Personality of Godhead, and develop that vision to see. When we are saying that Shastra, Bhagavatam, Purana is cream, I gave that a story to make that point, that how it is cream. It has everything to transition our consciousness from sadhana to Raganuga Bhakti. Then from Raganuga Bhakti, not all the bhaktas will go back to home, back to Krishna, to the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a certain specific mood that one has to cultivate. Okay, and with that mood, only one can get the entrance in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, at the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So work on your consciousness in a very right way, not a loosey-goosey way, not just so-called I'm devotee, and because we can also enjoy being a devotee too. Okay, but we have taken devotional service for our transformation, for nothing else. Na dhanam, na jadam, na sundarim, nothing else, just for consciousness, just for the evolution of our consciousness, transformation of our consciousness. So that's what needs to happen. And then the stages is very clearly given: sadhana, sadhu sangha, bhajan kriya, anartha nivriti. Let's see. And each stage has symptoms. Okay, are we complying with those symptoms? If not, then we are not there. So that's how we have to progress towards Supreme Personality of Godhead by taking deeper shelter of the message that's coming in Srimad Bhagavatam. So with that, let's have a pause here and hear some question answers, some pastime or anything anybody has. So I also try to emphasize the point that working for mankind, pramartha, not only for swartha. Okay, pramartha is very, very important, because somebody else has done for us. We all are so fortunate to Supreme Personality, Krishna himself as Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he gave the message to Brahma, to Narad, and through it has been coming, and then finally to our Siksha Gurus. We are so much indebted to their contribution. So likewise, there are people who is going to be indebted for your contribution, for our contribution. Okay, so we have to step up, broaden the heart. Bhagavatam says, what are the symptoms of a devotee? So one of them is that the devotee should have a broad heart, very bigger heart. Everything can encompass in their heart. Srila Prabhupada was a perfect example. So that's how see things in a very broader way, and that broader vision will come by taking deeper shelter of Shastra. Shastra is very important. Anybody has anything else? Any question? Any challenge? Any comment? Let's share something, Prabhu's Mataji's.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Mataji.
Prabhuji, that was a very powerful presentation and very impactful as well. Each and every word that you said has so much weight and value to me, for me, and I'm pretty sure for everybody else. The one thing that struck me out of this one was, how Krishna is so merciful. He gives us what we want. So if we want forgetfulness, he gives all the power to forget him and go away from him. And that is kind of a little scary as well, because little mistake and we can tumble down very easily. And I experience it every day. The day I don't start my day in the right way, like chanting and prayer, it doesn't go well at all. So, and also in my family, I see the whole thing, like, whatever you explain it, I experience it. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Krishna is saying that the knowledge and forgetfulness comes from me. So, yes, and whatever path we aspire, dadati buddhi yogam tam tenamamupyantite. Whatever we are desiring, Prithu Maharaj in his discussion with his citizens, he is mentioning this point also. So many places, one of the beautiful thing that comes when you study Shastra systematically, they are very consistent, very coherent. The same message in different contexts. You will get into the contextual discussion, and then the pinnacle that will come out of it, the essence that will come out of it, oh, same, So yes, Krishna, if devotee wants to go, or the person wants to enjoy the material world, bhoga artha moksha vartam, I have been sharing this. This material world is designed for bhoga, designed for moksha, and that's why, if you see, Krishna says, in Bhagavad Gita also, Janman Karmam Chame Divyam, my karma also is divya, not only Janma, karma also. We know that, when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, first 3 cantos talking about creation, very important. It's very important to know the creation, because we are part of this, creation. And then it makes sense that when it says that, when Krishna says that, knowing in Isopnisad also, verse number 14, where Krishna is saying that knowing this Sambhuta and Asambhutam. Okay, Sambhutam is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Asambhutam is the one which is not, which is basically depending on Krishna, right? So Krishna is Swarata, he is Sambhuta, Vibhuti, Sambhuti. So, there are Vibhuti, there are people who have some degree of Vibhuti, like chapter, 10 of Bhagavad Gita talks about Vibhuti. Some Bhuti, but there is nobody who has all the Vibhuti. So all the Vibhuti, all the opulence is with Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, so this is Sambhutam. And then Asambhutim is the one which is dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This material world is Asambhutim. And Krishna says that by knowing Sambhutim, me, and by knowing Asambhutim, this material world, one will aspire to come towards me. So that's why also when we read 11th canto, Dattatreya is also saying, Atmayuva Atma Guru. Myself, oneself. My oneself is my spiritual master. And what I learn from it, Vairag and Viveka. By knowing myself, I learned Vairagya and I learned Viveka. The whole Atma Guru, Vairag Viveka Hetur. My Deha is my own Guru for Vairagya and Viveka. Why? Why Vairagya? Oh, I was 10 years boy. Then I became 14 years. Sorry, yes, 14 years. Then, 22, 24 years, I came here as a PhD student. I went to school. Now I'm 47 years old man. I see those pictures. I see, oh my God, so much changes. I'm still down. I don't know. After 10 years down to line, I'll be old man. This time gone. The wise man knows that. Atmayuva Atma Guru. See the transformation, the changes that's happening in my body tells me that I'm temporary. So with that, Vairagya develops. With that, Vairagya develops. So Dattatreya, consider himself as a guru, and with that, he developed detachment from this material world. Oh, everything is changing. So yes, if we be, that's why Prabhupada used the word Krishna consciousness. If we are conscious of everything that's happening, it will teach us everything that's happening into the material world. It will teach us to go to our Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if ignore us, it will also give us the reason to go away from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Either we go towards the moksha or we go towards the bhoga. So that is why sadhu sangha is very, 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 very important. Always associating with the people who have higher intelligence. Don't see their fault. Okay, don't see their fault. All of us have a fault because we are part of the faulty creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This creation itself has a fault. So how can you get into your water and don't get wet? Look at somebody and say that there is no fault. This person needs to be perfect. This is just merely imagination. I look at just take the example of Bhajaswari Mataji. I look at her and I say that I want all the good quality in her. Oh, she has this problem, that problem, that problem, that problem. So tomorrow I'm going to act against XYZ problem that she has. No. If you are wise man, forgive. Ignore somebody's mistake because that person do not know. That person is not in the perfect consciousness of knowing the fault. If she will know, or if somebody will know that I have this fault, they will try to take over. So that's what it is. Be very, very sensitive for the things. And most important thing is acharan. Our Krishna consciousness is presented through our acharan, our character, our vyavahara, not by word, vyavahara. So, develop respect for each and every living being. Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever go against devotee. This is something that I'm still working on and I'm always thinking and meditating. Devotees are very, 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 very dear to Krishna. Very, very dear to Krishna. Somebody, have been suffering life after life, life after life, life after life. Now that person is looking towards Krishna. And then we have envy, we have jealousy, we are fault finding. Oh my gosh, not good, not good, not good at all. One of the things that, I have been meditating is that don't even consider that you are somebody's servant. Consider yourself servant, 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 servant of the servant. If you consider somebody servant, then you will see that, oh, master, I can ask questions, sir, how we can do like that. But if you think that you are so fallen, I'm so fallen that I can't even stand in front of Bhajaswari Mata. I can't even, stand in front of her. So who am I to see even fault in her? So try to put yourself so down, so down, so down, so down that, how I can see fault of Nivenu Madhurya Prabhu. He's my master. He's not only my master, but he is like way, way ahead, and develop the deep mood of servitude. Always push yourself to go down, keep on going down. The more down, the more down, the more down, the more humble, the more fallen you see, the more fault you see in yourself, the better you are doing. The more fault you see in others, the worse you are doing. So these are some of the things. Atma Yuva Atma Guru, this nature also was Guru for Dattatreya. Okay, so he has 24 gurus. We'll talk one day. Okay, so all of these things are teaching us. So if you are sensitive enough, we can learn a lot to elevate our consciousness. Be very, very, natural, very natural. I am who I am. That's all. My dear Lord, kindly help me, guide me. I have a desire to serve you. I'm a weak person. Just be natural. No simulation, no imitation, nothing. Whatever I am, my dear Lord, at your feet, at feet of your devotees. Kindly help me. And miracle will happen. Krishna will give us the intelligence. Krishna will give some eternal realizations and guidance that only you will know. You can't even express some of the things. The deeper mood of bhakti can't be expressed. So please cultivate for, saving yourself and getting the higher taste of bhakti. It's very deep. There are so many things, we don't know. So many things we don't know. 10 years, 15 years being into the movement, we feel like that, we are doing some good, but there's a lot of things that we have to work and we have to cultivate to go up and get the higher taste of the higher consciousness. And Shastra, that's why we need to study Shastra systematically. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of them. It has everything. It will change our life. So, okay. So with that, I'm going to chant Vaishnava Pranams and then we adjourn. Vanchikalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhuvya patidanam pavanehu Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Assemble Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Kindly forgive me if I said anything that was not palatable. I just wanted to make some points, and if I made any mistake, I'm at your feet, at your lotus feet. So kindly forgive me, and we'll stay in touch and continue our devotional service all together. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.